Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti along with Ashley Mayu. It is, for some reason, nice and cool in South Florida with a fast main track, breezy conditions, but once again, just a beautiful day for racing. Certainly, Ashley and I are both going to enjoy this cool weather today.
Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it. I wore pants today. It was a little chilly yesterday, Ron, but I think the sun's going to start to peek out later in the day, but we do have some cloud cover right now.
Yeah, it should be a beautiful day, and we enjoy this time of year just when you get these couple of final cool days for us. I know people up north think that whatever today is, 75, is not that cool, but for us it is. And Ashley, certainly now a Floridian, a full-time Floridian. Did you get your license yet?
I didn't yet. I need to go soon. Don't remind people. I'm over the 30 days, Ron, but I'm working on it. Got my appointment.
Well, you heard of Uber, right? Use that Uber until you get your license straight now. Just kidding. So, fast main track, firm turf course. Once again, the Stronach 5 paid a lot of money. And look, one sneaky in the race at Santa Anita that paid $21. The rest, you can make a case to having them, and it paid $2,700.
Yeah, looking at our races, kind of a little chalky, especially the nightcap. We both liked the Mark Casse horse that won, only paid $480 to win. But just those prices out at Santa Anita certainly made the ticket pay that much.
Yeah, Santa Anita, like $21.60. Usually they're very formful out there. Golden Gate Fields is the one track that I could never figure out. But when you get a favorite in, they usually run well. But that is the Stronach 5, and it'll be back again next Friday with the industry low 12% takeout. But we got a lot of work to do here. We got 11 races to look at, and it starts off in race number 1 today, and that's usually where everything starts, in race 1. 5 furlongs on the turf. Maiden claim is 3 and up, 16,000. Got a couple of pick 5s today, couple of pick 4s, and Ashley's got an early pick 5 ticket.
Still in the hunt to cash on one of these pick 5s, Ron. Played a $36 ticket today in this first race. I went too deep. I used Grand Union, who's still looking to graduate. Maybe start number 17 will do the trick, as well as the number 10 Fiat Lux, who's kind of the newcomer coming out of a race at the fairgrounds, going longer now on the cutback. Race 2, I go too deep as well. I did use the horse on the rail, Captured by Fate. I think this horse has a great post position, has early foot, and should be tough in there. 2 is deep as well in race 3. Kind of looking at the 1-2 finish from a key race here on March 12th. And then in the last 2 legs, I spread. I thought these were probably the best value races if we can beat a favorite in one of them. And for me, race 5 are those state bred maiden special weight horses on the turf. I had to spread and get some coverage.
Yeah, and it looks like we're in agreement with the early races in the early pick 5, which we'll be talking about. And let's get right into race number 1. We did have some scratches from 11 through 16, so 10 will start the day to kick off the early pick 5. And you would think 8-5 on the board right now with Fiat Lux. Now in the Joe Orsino barn, he debuts locally, showed speed. He tired late, but that was going long, as you mentioned, against those 30 maidens at the fairgrounds. But it was a good race last time and actually produced a trio of next out winners. So you would think, Joe Bravo, who's had a couple of wins already at the meeting, turn back to 5. If you want to play devil's advocate, that might be a little shaky proposition.
Might be a little shaky, and then has the outside draw. I still think this one's going to, break cleanly from the gate, hopefully, and get out towards the front. For me, just kind of looking at the buyer speed figures and other things, I do think this is the horse probably to beat, assuming there's kind of clear sailing from the gate. And definitely the cut and the claiming price stood out to me, Ron.
Well, the number 9, as you alluded to, Grand Union, is a consistent son of street sense with one glaring problem. He hasn't found the winner's circle yet. He's 16 starts, 6 seconds. That's it. So he's got one of Edgar Zayas, who's off to a really good start, had a multiple win day yesterday, trying to get this horse out of second gear. I think if he, one of these days he hasn't run badly, he's just going to get that diploma.
I do think one thing that maybe bodes well for him in his most recent race, the 3rd place finisher, Charlie Can Do. We just saw win a couple days ago, Ron, and finally got the job done on the maiden victory for him. So, maybe this kind of says something about Grand Union. You mentioned it. Fair share of chances, and all of his turf efforts have been at this 5 furlong distance, which is why I just still can't give him the top nod today.
Yeah, number 3, Coy, is another turning back to 5. Showed some early interest in fading with facing those 16 maidens going around 2 turns. Romero Mirage will be in the saddle this afternoon. We got the same exact superfecta up there. Boy, that you got to carry a lot of weight to get that one to come in, but maybe we'll be lucky today. Second race, going into the main track. It's fast. 5.5 furlongs. Claim is 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 in life, $6,250. Compact field of 6. You mentioned when you were putting your ticket together, the number 1, Captured by Fate. It's back home after shipping up to Tampa and finishing that. Set the pace second against those 2 lifetime claimers.
I think this is the horse to beat, to be honest, just having the speed on the rail. You look at that effort 2 back here off the long layoff that was at this level and at the 5.5 furlong distance and was a strong second, beaten by 3.5, but still was kind of clear of the field a little bit. The Rain Man just kind of much the best on that occasion. And this one, like I said, the big thing is going to be the early speed. For me, loves Gulfstream Park. You would have thought maybe would have gotten the job done last time out shipping to Tampa, knowing that the 8,000 non-winners of 2 lifetime is probably comparable, maybe softer depending on the field. He couldn't get it done, but today I do think we're going to see him get that second lifetime win.
Yeah, I'm ridden by MSC El Jaramillo, is really a good gate rider in here. Number 5, Rack Jr., who have in second, I have in third. Needs only to get away from the gate in a timely fashion after breaking slowly last time out prior to finishing that late running second against Similar, going 6.5 furlongs. Edgar Zayas, a 3-win day yesterday, turned back to this distance of 5.5 furlongs. Needs to break a little sharper.
It was for his first start for his new trainer, I should say, and second time off the layoff. So I liked seeing that performance. You see a dramatic increase from his numbers from his prior races here at Gulfstream in the late summer and that February race. But the break is going to be key because he spotted the field a sizable advantage, and there was no way for him to make up that ground late, even though he was trying to. So I'm a little kind of leery about him just with his issues out of the gate and that he doesn't have early speed like the other horse we already mentioned. So that's why I'm going to use him underneath.
Well, the number 2, this dude's no fool. Moves to the Carlos David Bonvilla. The Claim drops to the 6,250 level. I know you like Villa the Claim in there. I threw that one in for you. Turns back to 5.5. Got its apprentice, his 10-pound apprentice, his first ride, Renee Diaz. I hear good things about him. Bond is good. First off the Claim. Going to be interesting to see what you get with that whole scenario.
They're doing a lot, right? You mentioned the slash and the claiming price, the weight break, the cutting back in distance. That could be a big thing for him because that mile race, I don't think he wanted any part of. My concern is he was favored in that spot. Prior to that, though, the turf effort, I would disregard that. And then the one before that, that's when he broke his maiden here, and he was forwardly placed, which is not necessarily what happened in his last 2. So there's obviously room for improvement. They're going to try to do everything and hope that's enough for him to get in the winner's circle.
Let's flip the page, go to race number 3, 5 furlongs on the turf, starter optional claim. 3-year-old started for 35 or less, or the claiming optional tag of $35,000. And you and I, in agreement here, sort of flip-flop our exact. The favorite in here is the number 4 Exchange Day. And I was wondering, I had a little further down, on the ticket than the morning line favorite. So I'm interested to see if you saw the same thing when you show me your replay here.
Yeah, I want to show the replay on that key race from March 12th here at Gulfstream Park because it does involve a lot of the horses in here. Now, kind of looking on this occasion, the number 1 Spend Benjamins gets out to the front and is hustled out there, kind of much the best out of the gate. You look at some of the other horses like the number 5 Ensign Parker is kind of off of it. And now we're kind of going to look at the stretch run and see where these 2 runners are. I mean, Spend Benjamins, when I said he got the easy lead, he stayed there. But I did think the runner-up, Ensign Parker, did have a nice late kick in that race, and you'll kind of see that approaching the wire. He was trying, but Spend Benjamins just had that early advantage, and it made the difference, Ron.
Well, I think I'm great you showed that because I think the number 5 horse there, but the number 3 horse today, Ensign Parker, can't turn out to be the speed of the speed in this race. He looks to make amends after recovering from that slow start. He had a bumping incident to finish second. He was beaten a length as the favorite. So I'm thinking he might be the speed in there and Spend Benjamins for all the reasons you just shown.
Yeah, these 2 were, to me, the top 2 to use in here. I went back and forth because when you look at Ensign Parker, those are 2 solid back-to-back turf efforts. And if you look at the 1-2 back, it was against tougher competition. He was kind of underrated in that spot. He went off at a pretty big price. And that was, like I said, tougher competition. So for me, I think he's a logical top 2 horse in here. Spend Benjamins, I think he was the opposite last time out. He was not favored, and he got the jump on the field. So if he's able to do that again, because he has an inside draw, it could set up for him once again. But I do think there's going to be a lot of horses, as long as the break is clean, kind of trying to get that early lead.
Yeah, a lot of the horses, as you mentioned, come out of the race. The 7 Jackson Strong, you have a little further down, is open for. He had trouble at the start, too. He finished 6th behind the 2 horses we were just just talking about. 4, Kathleen O'Connell, Emerson Jaramillo. So it's going to be fun to see the rematch from all those horses there. And those 5 furlong turf races, you just got to see who gets the position soon out of the gate. You don't have to be on the lead, but you got to be in that first flight. This turf course for the last month has been sort of keen towards speed. With that said, go to race 4. 6 furlongs, claim is 3 and up, or 4-year-olds and up who have not won 3 races or a race since October 3rd, or one of these little, it's like a little story. It tells you about the conditions of this race. You got to know how to read the condition book, you trainers out there. Make sure you listen to this now. Ashley and I did. We got South Sea on top of our ticket.
I just think this is going to be some major class relief for the 7-year-old son of Into Mischief. Last time out was about 6-1. Didn't take too much respect. That was going 6 furlongs on the dirt and tired late to finish last, beaten by 8 3/4. But the prior race going 6.5. That was a sizzler. Big number kicked back on that one and just missed by a half. A reserved not attained was the winner, but you kind of feel bad for this horse because he was really gutsy run and just had to be second best on that occasion.
Yeah, and moved to the Brittany Russell barn after the claim. And I looked up stat on her. I thought, she doesn't do that much claiming. She claimed 6 horses thus far since she started training and won with 3 of them. So she's 3 for 6, 50%. New connections, got Edgar Zayas in the saddle. A little bit of a shaky drop down in there. I know you went to the inside with your second pick, Kalu, who's going back to the dirt after following that second place finish on the main track. Sort of did not break, got beat less than 2 lengths in that race. That was 16, claimers going 5. You can't break slow in those type of races, but showed some late interest in that race.
Now, when you see 9th, you're like, wow, that's a bad performance, but the field was compact. They were all right there at the finish. This one, as you mentioned, missed by a length and 3/4. I think prefers the dirt. I like the 6.5 effort 2 back, just missed behind Mana Vision, kind of had to chase off of it a little bit and put pressure on the pace setter, but it was a good performance. Really likes it here at Gulfstream Park. I mean, those races at Tampa, I thought they were salty little bunches. You see the race 4 back, I had this race start. It was only $10,000 claimers, but Astronaut Oscar came back to win next time out, and it was a gutsy defeat, but a gutsy performance nonetheless. And Edwin Gonzalez, we talked about this. I think he's going to have a really big spring-summer meet here. When I see a horse around 8-1 that I think others are going to be played more, this is a sneaky horse in the exotics.
Yeah, 4 for 4 in the money, as you mentioned. 4 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds at Gulfstream Park. The number 4, Uncorked the Bottle, is back locally after taking sort of the overland route last time out when he rallied 6 wide. He finished second. That was against those 16 optional claimers, going 6.5 up at Tampa. Safi Joseph Jr. had this horse up at Tampa. Actually, Julian Leperoon was up there to ride one of the stakes, was in the saddle. And now they're going to go with the J.C. Diaz Jr. We got a lot of new faces here, jockeys that have been here in the past, coming back for the spring-summer meet. So Uncorked the Bottle, I think, has a spot on my ticket at least.
He's failed as the favorite in those 3 races at Tampa. I'm not too concerned about it because every time he's kind of gave it in his all, and I actually like the most recent performance. It did set up for closers with the way the pace kind of shaked up, only missed by half a length. And look at his last win. It was at Saratoga against a pretty tough group, I would say. It wasn't a huge field, but it was a nice win. He only has 1 win here from just 3 attempts, but I like him switching back over to here. And when Safi's in a race, he's another one, Ron. You always have to look at the horses and see where they've been and what they've been doing.
Yeah, he had a fantastic championship meet, second behind a perennial trainer, leading trainer, and Todd Fletcher. Real good meet. Let's go to race 5. 1 mile on the turf, maiden special weight. These are state-bred 3-year-olds and upward. And I will start it with me before we take a look at the courses you have on the ticket. I mean, you can show the video of up. You got him in second. Both these horses. Let's show the video because we're talking about Flight to Paradise and Borkan.
So first, I want to show the head-on because Borkan does kind of hit off the gate a little bit. It doesn't seem that big of a deal, but you can see the rider does kind of lose balance a little bit. And the main thing here is it does, kind of spot him a poor position. He's towards the back of the pack early on, and that always, to me, is something to consider. Now, when you look at these 2 horses here, Borkan is still in the back. Flight to Paradise on the outside, pretty wide here, is going to try to gun down and make the lead here. Looking at how they finished in that race, you see Borkan will end up finishing 3rd, but does have a nice rally once he finds some room. And the 12, Flight to Paradise, Very nice performance from this one as well, just to miss by a narrow sort of length or so. And Borkin, gets up for third barely, but I think a lot came down to trip. I think Flight to Paradise might have had a little bit better of a trip than Borkin did.
Yeah, just but so tough to break. That day was the 12, broke from post 11, rallied to finish second. As you just saw, it is the son of Temple City. Edgar Zayas returning, going to break the inside post this afternoon. Does that help him a little bit? Got to get out of that gate. You showed Borkin. He ran well. I closed it out with the number 5, Creative Cloud, who's stretching out to the mile after tracking the pace, finishing sort of a so-so of fourth in his 7.5 furlong career debut. For who we were just alluding to in the last race, Safi Joseph Jr., and he's pretty good with maidens making their second start, about 22%.
That's what stood out to me enough to use this horse underneath. I just think second time out, maybe this one learned something. And I did actually like the most recent move. It was a much improved morning move here on the 28th at Gulfstream Park, 47-4, eighth fastest of 70 workers that morning. So busy morning on the 28th was a step up from the work on the 21st. So we'll see. This horse can certainly step up, and a little bit of a stretch out might help as well.
Yeah, we got the same super box. You use number 4, Magical Adventure, and this has certainly been a magical adventure these first 5 races. So what we'll do is we'll take a short break and come back with the rest of this adventure.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Round off first inside. Race. A quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Ron and Ashley are going to take a look at the final 6 races on the card. And the 6th race today with the 11 race card is where the Rainbow Six starts with $350,000. Got my old $43.20 ticket in there. There you see $350,000. And I did use 3 in here. I'd like to use 3 always in the beginning. I don't want to get knocked out, which seems to happen an awful lot with me. So I used Dr. Harlan, Starship Apollo, and Flawless Moon in there. 2 deep. Lori Lupes looks pretty tough in that spot, the 3, but I used Nacho Mama. And in race number 8, once again, 2 deep with the 4, shining through in the 10, Cole Brothers, Lost Super and Energizer to the scratch in there. And you see I got some coverage in the rest of the races. In race number 11, I hear through the rumor mill that number 3, Red Wind, my long shot on the day, might even be Ashley's long shot, but we'll find out when we get to that race.
Rumor mill might be correct on that one. I think 4320 is like your magical number, Ron.
Yeah.
Every day it's 4320. It's simple.
Well, when you go to the ATM and you have 4460 in there, you can only take out 4320. So that's sort of how it works in there. Just kidding around. This is 6th race, 6.5 furlongs. Claim is 4 and up, $6,250. Scratch the 4 in here, and I'm glad you had the 2 on top. I thought this was the logical one. Starship Apollo going to try and make it 2 in a row. Tracked early, drew clear late. It's tough to win 2 races in a row when you're dealing with this level of competition, but no one else in the race really scared me that much.
You said it best. It is tough to win 2 in a row at the 62.50 claiming level because I think horses get into form and then they kind of might be a little sour the next race. It's just back and forth, a little inconsistent at times, or other horses are just kind of getting in off the layoff and improving. Starship Apollo, I just liked the race, how this horse was comfortable early on, made that late pounce to win by a length and a quarter under Paco Lopez that day. Now Edgar Zayas, another very capable and very good rider here, 13-time winner here over the dirt track. I mean, this stood out to me.
Yeah, a horse that used in second. I used a little further down, and I was afraid of this one. That did not use it on my Rainbow 6 ticket. Only went 3 deep. Talking about the 7 fast loaded.
This is a horse that I think the form is inconsistent. Last time out, maybe had an excuse at that level, going a mile, now cutting back in distance. I thought the effort 2 back, really, really good performance. Was not favored in that event. Picked up that third lifetime win while in for a 12-5 tag. Now facing some more seasoned runners, stepping up more to this open level, but I think had some excuses last time out, but it seems like there's a good effort, a poor effort, the last 4 or so. It's like a good race, a bad race, a good race. So I'm hoping that looking at the form cycle, maybe this one will have a good race today.
Well, a horse I've been trying to catch since I've been here, I think. This horse seems to always be in the plans, and that's Dr. Harlan. He's a 6-time local winner. He moves from the outside to the rail, hoping to find more firepower today for the stretch drive. He finished a 4-wide third against Starship Apollo last out. Gustavo Delgado. He's got the apprentice Gadiel Martinez handling the rematch. One of these horses, and the 6-time local winner, I never had him one of those 6 times. I just can't catch this horse. So I didn't want to get beat by him, so I put him further up the ticket.
Maybe lucky number 7, Ron. Maybe that'll be the day. I think last time out it was an even performance. I mean, he finished 3rd behind Starship Apollo, 2 lengths behind him. It was good. I think it's good enough to get a share in here. He is kind of a horse that maybe 6.5 isn't the distance that he wants. He's only 2 for 6 in the money. He doesn't have any wins at the distance, but his last 2 races are certainly better than some of the other ones that we've seen so far this year.
And the number 5 Flawless Moon is making its local return to 2 in a race for trainer Sandra Matier. Also has So Long Chuck, Jose Morales in the saddle on this Flawless Moon today. I thought we'd run okay in this spot.
I think he could. I think looking at those races, he's usually further back than some of the other horses that we've talked about. Fast Loaded, I think, is going to be close to the pace, as well as Starship Apollo. So if any sort of speed duel happens going this, 1 turn, 6.5 furlongs, it could set up really nicely for Flawless Moon. Likes the track here. So a lot to look at, but I do think we're kind of on the same page. Starship Apollo hopefully can go 2 for 2 in a row here.
We need him to do that, at least for my ticket. We do. Race number 7 is where the late pick 5 kicks off. It's a 6 furlong sprint allowance optional claimer. They're state bred fillies and mares. 4 and up, 12.5 the optional price. 7 in the field, no scratches, jockey changes. Boy, Lori Lupi looks pretty good in here. She's really consistent. Daughter of Rattlesnake Bridge, stretching out to 3/4. Stalked the pace, finished 2nd behind that repeat winner Gitana last time out. Safi, Emisial. I think this one sort of jumps off the page here.
Definitely. Her numbers do, too. I mean, she has an 82 buyer last time out. She didn't even win that race, but she had an 82. It was a good performance. Now, 3rd start off the layoff. 3 races ago, that was back in July, Ron, and it was another good performance from her with an 80 buyer. She finished 2nd again, beaten by a length. So hopefully she'll be able to pick up that 3rd lifetime win, but based on what I see here on paper, that's what I'm expecting to happen.
Let me see. The number 5, My Ashley. You have in 2nd. I wonder why.
It's not my name, Ron. You have a nameplate coming up in a little bit, too, that I know you don't like. My Ashley, though, last time out, disappointing performance, but I did like the speed that this one showed in the 2 prior efforts. That's the December effort and the February effort. Broke her maiden against Meaden Special Weight Company. And I'll be honest, I love Offspring of Field Commission. I think they're pretty nice horses overall. She's just going to have to step up from that most recent performance because she didn't show much and she was kind of, taking some play in there. I'm just looking at how the race panned out. 2 or other efforts, there's a little bit more speed early on and she was trying to close from off of it, and I don't think she wanted to be that far back when she broke so slow.
Number 4, Nacho Mama, is turning back to 3/4 of a mile today after rallying to finish 3rd. It was a good race. Finished actually in front of a couple of next out winners against this level of state-bred competition. Going 6.5 furlongs, and those are the 2 I used in there. My Ashley, and I used this one on the ticket too. I think this one is better than its last might indicate. We're going to flip the page and go to race number 8. 1 mile on the turf. Claimers 3 and up, non-winners of 2 in life. $12,500. I lost my top pick in here. The number 3. Super Energizer 4-1 on the morning line, but we got a late pick 4. Let's check out your ticket.
That was a key scratch that did change my ticket. I was going to single the number 4 shining through after the scratch of number 3 Super Energizer, but I also decided to toss in the number 10 Call Burrows. Those are my top 2 in here. And then in race 9, I used 3 in here. I thought the 5 and 8 were logical horses, but the 2 tune in. 12-1 morning line, juicy price. I wanted to see what this one can do on the surface change. And then I spread again in these last 2 legs in in race 10, I spread 3 deep. And then finally, we close out the day with a field of $16,000 maiden claimers. And that the rumor mill, that Red Wind number 3 was my price in there that I had to toss in for some more coverage.
Yeah, I think that horse could run well in the last. All of those a good ticket, $27. So the number 4, I bumped this horse up into my top spot. Shining Through has been knocking on the door consecutive races at this level. Just needs that little push from Lady Luck to notch this condition for Ken Sweezy, a Romero Mirage trying to get the gelding sort of out of, second gear.
I think the key scratch is going to help Shining Through, and hopefully is enough for him to come through since we both need him. You've mentioned it. I mean, the last 2 performances, they've been good efforts, just needs a little bit more, and I think that's going to help today. Prior to that, even at the mile and an eighth, it was not a bad race. I mean, it was kind of closing from further back than we've seen, and I think with Shining Through, there's some versatility there. It was pretty far back last time out, 2 starts back, just off the pace. So we'll see what Romero Murad decides to do early after speaking with Kent Sweezy about where they want to go, kind of looking at the pace scenario here.
The number 10, Colbrose, who you added on your ticket, is hoping for a trouble-free journey. He got blocked in the stretch last time out when he finished third behind Shining Through, going the mile. Joe Orsino's got Joe Bravo in the saddle, so you got the Joe Plus in that particular race with Colbrose. I think that was a good to add this horse to the ticket. I think with a cleaner trip could be a dangerous in there. And then I just threw in Seize the Hay, who's dropping to the 12.5 level just because it's Todd Plesher. But boy, those were back-to-back sightseeing trips. This horse really didn't run very well.
Yeah, this is the horse that I ended up kind of tossing in since I had 4, 3, 10, 1. And I tossed the 7 in here, and I have reservations. You've just mentioned those last 2 efforts. Off the maiden score here at the end of December, I would have expected a little bit more. And out of the 2, I really didn't like last time out going a mile and an eighth. This one didn't really close that much in the end, picked up some position, but didn't really make up ground.
Well, we got a lot of hard-knocking contenders in race number 9. The mile starter allowance 4 and up. These started for $30,000 or less. And, Kanani, unbelievable for Tammy Levy, a 10-time local winner. And she can defeat this level of competition on any given day.
Hard-knocking horse for sure. I liked the effort last time out. Just missed by 3/4 of a length behind Gloria Florida, who I know you like in this spot as well, and use it on top. I just thought this might be an option for her to kind of turn the tables. These 2 always battle it out. 1-2, 2-1 finishes for this one. So the last 2 efforts have been really, really big, and you've mentioned it. Loves it here at Gulfstream Park. Loves the distance. I'd love to own a horse like this.
And the 2 horse, I know you have some interest. You can put them on your ticket, 12-1 on the morning line, and that is Tune In. I have a little further down.
I just thought these 2 turf races, they're really big efforts, both resulted in wins. For me, I'm kind of curious to see this one back on the dirt because it's been a while since here at Gulfstream Park that we saw this one on the dirt. It was in a different barn at the time. You do see that race at Tampa. I just think Tampa's a different surface than here, and I think that anywhere, whenever I handicap the races at Tampa, finished 3rd, beaten by High Five Cotton, who I know's entered in a couple days at Keeneland, and is a very, very nice horse and very fast. So I think everything kind of went High Five Cotton's way, and he was a repeat winner next time out. So price was juicy, so I was looking for something, and Tune In, I think, could be sneaky here.
And number 9, Create Again, making the 3rd start of its current form cycle for Victor Barboza Jr. Edgar Zayas handling 3rd start off the bench. 10th race this afternoon kicks off the late daily double 5 on the turf. Allowance optional claimer 4 and up. Optional claiming price of $25,000. I like Montigny today. I think it's Montigny or Northeast. I think it's Montigny. Wheeling back after losing a tough one. Was beaten just that nose last time out against those starter allowance 35 types. For Kelly Breen, we talked about Edwin Gonzalez a couple of times over the last couple of days. Just got to get this son of Bayron in the mix and get him up on across the wire first, I should say.
Yeah, he wants to be towards the front no matter what. He loves to sprint on the grass, loves it here at Gulfstream Park. Last one actually came over the main track. The race was scheduled for the turf but moved off, was in for a $35,000 tag against non-winners of 2 lifetime, and really, really solid race from him. And then to see him in that tough group last time out on the turf was enough to make him my top pick in here. And at 4-1 morning line, I don't think we'll get that, but I'll be hoping we do.
You know, the horse you have in second here is one of those horses, Captain Ron. I was poo-pooing it last time out when I was doing the show with Acacia. What did the horse do? Win.
It's a common theme.
So, it's a logical contender. Got some interest. I really got to mention the 8 in here, Zano, who's hoping for a clean trip. He had that good victory against state-bred optional claimers 2 back. Had trouble. He steadied late last time out. Wesley Ward is the trainer. Of course, Wesley, most of his stock moved to Keeneland, but you got future Hall of Famer, if not Hall of Famer, Mario Pino is going for, I believe, his 7,000th victory soon. He's trying to get it here in the saddle today. I just thought that is a good combination. Got to meet Mario a couple of times down here, and he's running the spring and summer here in South Florida. I like those connections.
It's intriguing when you see them kind of team up here in this spot. I kind of was like, oh, I got to look at this more. You mentioned last race, the traffic. I think that's key, that this horse had to steady late. I mean, still 6, beaten by 2 1/4. It's not a bad effort. Nice work since then at Palm Meadows over the turf. 3rd start off the layoff. You mentioned Mario Pino, Wesley Ward. Sign me up.
Exactly. We're going to close out with race 11, about 7.5 on the turf. Maiden claiming fillies and bears. 3 and up, $16,000 is we got the scratches in there of the 4, 7, and the 14. And please note, the number 13 is going to get in and run. I don't know what you went on top. I did go with the number 3. Oh, wait, we're going to show you a replay here. Well, wait on that replay. Let's get the race 11 selections up here. Did you go with number 3, Red Wind, on top of your ticket?
I did. I had to go with Red Wind. I was looking, we look for those long shots. This was the spot I thought made a lot of sense just because there's $16,000 maiden claimers on the turf. And I do have a couple reservations about the 11 Garner State Park, and I see you agree. Those are the top 2 in here, Ron.
Yeah, let's just show that replay of Garner State Park. There you go.
This race is all the way back in May, so it's been a while, but you see Garner State Park, you can see labeled on the screen right now. This is just coming down the stretch now. Big performance from her. I thought it was really gritty, and she was really trying to kind of battle it out with the favorite in here, the number 12 Caribbean Kitten, and just missed by the smallest of margins to the favorite. So I really think an effort similar to this, just based on her numbers and all of that, fit. Now she's going to make the first start off the claim, but the long layoff is why I used her underneath, Ron. I'm sure that might be a part of your reason for doing so, too.
Yeah, and the tough post, too. And I used the number 9, Night Orchid, and I used every corny line you could use, looking to blossom in the nightcap. All that stuff I usually do, blah, blah, blah. But I think this horse can run well for Amanda de la Cerda with Victor LeBron up. So that's how we see the 11 race card, but we're not done. We got the ever popular lightning round going to kick off right now, and there it is, coming right up. You hear that lightning round, and a horse that is just, there's no words. I guess unbelievable would be the best word. We're talking about Winx, the Australian champion. Just amazing. There you see they made a statue. Look at that, 33 straight races winning, with including 25 Group 1s.
It's so cool to see the following that she had, Ron. I mean, so many people loved her. She's very, very, very tough. And it was about a month ago that they unveiled this statue of her at Rose Hill Gardens, which was her home track and the home track of her trainer, Chris Waller. And I know they really wanted to capture her rider, Hugh Bowman, in her. And that's pretty impressive. I really think it's beautiful.
They did an excellent job. It almost looks like she can win 34 in a row with that one there. You're going to take this second one because you're totally involved. I believe you are one of the judges, or if not the judge, of the Best Turned Out Award. Yeah,
I'm really excited. So we started last week, and it's going to go through the spring, summer meet, and probably even longer. We're doing Best Turned Out Awards. We're not just doing it on the big days, Ron, or the stakes races. It is every day, every race. We'll give a gift card out, and that goes to the best groom horse combo. So not just the horse. It's all about the whole pageantry of racing. So excited to judge those. I'll be judging them all day today as well, 11 of them. So it'll be a long day, but it's a really great thing.
And, we mentioned a little earlier that we have lots of new riders here, apprentice riders, and one of them is a 10-pound apprentice who's riding a little earlier today, Renee Diaz, and he just found it interesting. He was raised in South Florida. He went to MacArthur High School. He was co-captain of the soccer team with a rider, Romero Mirage. So you got a guy who's going to start his career today, and I hear through the grapevine that he's a pretty good rider. We're going to see that a little earlier on.
What a small world, though. He knows Romero as well, and they played sports together. It's pretty cool. And I know you did your homework. We had to figure out. We were curious to see who this was, and it was an interesting story. And I think this is just going to add to the jockey colony we have here.
And Edgar Zayas, so we mentioned a couple of times, had a really nice 3-win day yesterday. And when you look back, take care of the championship meet. He's been the leading rider, and there you see him winning. This is his race here with Pearl Essend, his third win of the afternoon. He had a 3-win day, as I mentioned, but he was the leading rider in the past 2 spring and summer meets.
Yeah, he finished 5th the championship meet, and then the other thing was he won the final title at Gulfstream Park West. So his resume, it keeps on growing, and I think he's going to have a couple multiple win days here this summer.
And he's just a great kid. I mean, really nice guy. Besides being a really good rider, and he's the best around here in the spring and summer. And it's proven each and every year. And we got our sister track, big doings in California this afternoon, the Santa Anita Derby. So I think the 9-5 favorite in there is going to be the one to beat in there. We'll see how this field plays out. 9-5 on Medina Spirit, the number 7.
Big field, 10 runners. Post time for us on the East Coast here is going to be 7:15. It's race 8, but I know they have way more than 8 races today, Ron. So busy day of racing here at Gulfstream Park with an 11-race program. Big fields out at Santa Anita Park and a lot of races. So I'll be tuning in once we wrap up here.
Definitely got to be checking that the races out at Santa Anita, our sister track, as I mentioned. Well, that's it for the lightning round. Going to turn it over to Mr. Pete Aiello with all the changes you need to have a winning afternoon for me and for Ashley. We'll see you later.